Ano ang pinagkaiba ng retirement sa resignation?
And ano ang requirements para maging eligible ka mag-retire? Now, ito ngayon ang tanong ng reader natin. Ano sabi niya? Hello, attorney. I already served the company for more than 7 years.
Wow, ang tagal.
Ang tagal. Hindi masyado. Pero magre-retire na siya. So, let's see. Can I be entitled for retirement pay because I already resigned? Thank you and more subscribers. And yan ang nagtanong niyan ay si Ronald Kiambao.
Nakakatawa naman si Ronald. Nag-wish pa siya ng more subscribers.
Yes.
We definitely appreciate that, Ronald. So in this episode, Ronald will try to help you out and will answer the following questions such as, number 1, ano ba yung concept ng resignation? Diba? Kasi nabanggit mo yung resignation.
Ano nga ba ang concept ng resignation?
Oo, sasagutin natin yan.
Sige.
And syempre, may nagamit siyang isa pang word. Concept of retirement, pag-uusapan din natin.
Iba ba yun?
Tignan natin.
Okay.
Kaya sasagot. Ano ang pinagkaiba ng dalawang yun? If any. Diba? And we'll also talk about the types of retirements in the Philippines. Actually, marami yan.
Huh? Oo. Isa lang.
Oo. And then finally, after na maintindihan lahat ng yun, we'll apply all of those to answering Ronald's question. How does that sound, Ronald?
Sounds great, brother.
Hopefully matuwa din si Ronald kan.
No, but before that, let's do a shout out sa mga nagbigay sa atin ng comment. As usual, sino naman to? Okay, ito si Ricardo de Gunyon. Sabi niya, after reading this book, I feel empowered and motivated to make these 7 legal documents even if we are not lawyers. And I think the book that he's talking about is this one?
The blue one.
The blue one. Notary not included.
Yes.
And you can get that on our store.
Actually, Ricardo got in touch with me. Nakakatuwa naman. He sent me an email thanking me for the book. Ricardo, thank you rin for supporting the book, and I hope it was really able to help you in as much as it could with your legal transactions, if ever.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much, Ricardo, and for the rest of the readers and viewers, please keep watching and sharing. And kung gusto rin ninyo mag-submit ng tanong or comments for our show, please go to www.legalguide.ph and click the Submit Topic button. Now, let's get on with the show.
Let's get it out! This episode is brought to you by the Complete Employee Discipline System, a book that teaches owners, managers, and supervisors how to handle any offense easily and systematically. It provides step-by-step procedures from incident reports all the way to the clearance process. Stand your ground and discipline with confidence. Go to info.legalguide.ph/discipline to learn more. Welcome to Legal Guide Philippines, where we simplify the law to help you make better choices. I'm attorney Ramon Ramirez, and I'm with my partner,
attorney Erwin Zagala. So today, we're talking about resignation versus retirement, attorney Ramon.
Okay.
Yan. So ibalik natin yung tanong.
Okay.
Maganda yung tanong eh.
Anong tanong
Parang sinabi niya, attorney, nag-resign na ako. So eligible ba ako sa retirement? May matatanggap ba
I think more than that, sabi niya, he's been with the company for 7 years na.
Oh, that's material.
Oo,
that's
sabi niya, 7 years na ako eh. So, and ayoko na. Ayoko na. So, gusto ko nang mag-resign. Pero ngayon na magre-resign na ako, eligible na ba akong nabigyan ng retirement pay?
Oo. Kaya lang, attorney Ramon, actually, nung iniisip ko yung tanong, medyo butas yung tanong eh.
Bakit butas?
May kumbaga, kung sakaling itong taong to kumonsulta sa akin, ang una kong itatanong, alam mo kung ano? Ano po ang edad?
Tama.
Diba? Kaya lang parang wala sa facts. So let's just assume na nag-resign lang, diba? And run-of-the-mill employee. Na hindi pa...
Kung wari ka, ano na lang natin, let's assume na kaedaran na lang natin, mga early 30s. Yan.
Hindi ba 20s?
Mga late 20s.
Late 20s. Sige. Late 20s. Sige. Kasi walang age na sinabi sa facts.
Tama.
So let's just assume that. Pero later on, kapag pinaliwanag kasi namin to, you will see why age factors in sa tanong na to.
Yep.
Okay? So, let's move on to the first building block. Kasi ito, attorney Ramon, bago ko pwedeng sagutin, may mga kailangan tayong ituro na building blocks. Na kapag naintindihan nila to, okay, dadagdag na naman siya sa susunod na concept, and then sa dulo, we can meld it together.
I agree.
So the first building block is the concept of resignation. So ano nga ba ang resignation?
Okay.
Ito yung sinasabi na magre-resign na ako. Di ba? And then, yung iba nga, mag-immediate resignation ako. Pero, let's...
So, parang ganito yan. So,
sige.
Okay, meron tayong empleyado. Okay, so ito si...
Ang ganda ng props mo.
Si Kakashi. Yan.
Sige.
Okay.
Ano sabi ni Kakashi?
Si Kakashi empleyado, ito yung boss. Ito si Perceptor. Yan. Okay, so, ito yan. Andiyan si boss, nakaupo dyan.
Sige.
Lalapit ngayon si
Kakashi.
Yung empleyado. Boss, ano yun?
Pareho boses, ano? Pareho boses.
Sige. Boss, ano yun? Ayoko na magtrabaho. Bakit naman? Ay, wala lang. I resign.
Ayun. Anong magic word doon? Ayoko nang magtrabaho. So take note, ladies and gentlemen, ang pinanggagalingan po ng decision is sino? Si bossing or si empleyado?
Si empleyado.
Kasi siya nagsabi, ayoko nang magtrabaho. And for whatever reason that is, actually, pwedeng, kasi lilipat na ako na ibang trabaho, or mag-aaral na ako, or mag-a-abroad na ako. It doesn't matter. For legal purposes, ang binabantayan natin dito is, sino ba yung source ng decision na umalis?
Yes.
So that is the
employee.
Yes.
Si Kakashi Sensei.
So now, let's go to the legal definition. Resignation is the voluntary act of an employee. So, yun yung sinasabi natin, di ba?
Voluntary
sa
act
kanya
of
nang
the
galing
employee.
yung decision.
Yes.
Who is in a situation wherein one believes that for personal reasons cannot be sacrificed in favor of the exigency of the service. And one has no other choice but to disassociate oneself from employment. Di ba? Medyo it's a fancy way of saying ayaw na ng empleyado na magtrabaho for one reason or another, and he has decided to leave their work. Okay. So, kapag nagre-resign, we discussed this extensively in other videos. Kung sakaling you need more insight into the resignation process, I would suggest you go to www.legalguide.ph and just go to the search bar and type resignation. Malulunod po kayo sa dami ng resignation videos na ginawa namin. But just to summarize the stuff that we've talked about there, Attorney Ramon, ano ba ang kailangan gawin kapag resign ka? Kasi resignation is a formal pronouncement of or relinquishment of an office, di ba? So, yung formal, kailangan yun, may written resignation.
Okay. So, mali pala yung natin. So, dapat, nung nag-resign siya,
hindi pa kasi tapos.
Okay.
Iaabot pa niya yung papel. So, isa pa.
Okay, resign na ako. O sige, ito yung formal resignation ko. May papel siyang ibibigay. Tama ba? Written?
Yes.
Okay. Sige.
Ang ginagawa kasi ng ibang empleyado,
I quit!
Bahala na kayo dyan.
Mag-walk out. Ang drama yun.
Walang bagsak mo. Diba?
Ang daming madrama.
Sundin mo na lang yun sa batas, di ba? Which is, it's supposed to be a written notice na nakasulat. Now, yung pagsabi nun, ang sinasabi rin ng batas, kailangan, as to the intent of the relinquishment, it must concur with the overt act of relinquishment. Okay? The acts of the employee before and after the alleged resignation must be considered in determining whether he or she, in fact, intended to sever his or her employment. And this comes from the case of Doble versus ABB Incorporated. It's a 2017 case.
Yeah, so parang basically, ang sinasabi ng Supreme Court, titignan yung kabuuan ng yung actions ng employer.
Kasi pwedeng sinabi, magre-resign ako, kinabukasan, pumasok pa. Ano ginagawa mo rito? Yung pala hindi
joke lang, boss.
Yung pala hindi niya naiintindihan kung ano yung ginagawa niya. So what the Supreme Court is saying is, we have to look at the whole situation. May intention na talaga na umalis. Okay? So, again, the two elements of a valid resignation are, number one, the intent to relinquish, and number two, the overt act of relinquishment of the employment.
Yun, pwede ba yun yung pag-abot ng resignation letter?
That's the overt act. And then, syempre, yung intent, makikita mo sa galaw. Kasi kung nag-resign, tapos kinabukasan, nakita mo na sa kantin. Ewan ko, nakikita mo sa lang.
Or umiiyak. Sinasabi sa mga friends niya na ayaw naman niya talaga
mag-resign. Wait. Pwedeng pag nag-resign, nandun pa rin siya. Kasi, may turnover period pa yan. Oo, pero kung sakaling nag-immediate resign, pero kinabukasan nandun pa, medyo magtanong ka na, ano ba talaga yung intention? Kasi those things are material to any resignation case. As the case of Central Azucarera de Bais Incorporated versus Siason. so elucidated. Ito sa kanya nagaling yung 2 elements of resignation. It's a 2015 case. Yeah. So just to recap ha, resignation, si empleyado mismo yung nag-decide na umalis.
Okay.
May pumilit ba sa kanya? Wala, gusto lang niya umalis.
Maraming rason kung bakit.
Maraming rason, and the law considers all of them valid. Kasi another thing, Attorney Ramon, is you cannot actually prevent a person from resigning. We discussed this in a separate video.
Totoo ba yun?
The privilege of resigning is a right. It's not, mali pala yung privilege. It's a right. Ibig sabihin, hindi pwedeng tanggalin sa isang empleyado yung karapatan na mag-resign kung gugustuhin.
Bakit may mga nababalitaan ako na nag-submit ng resignation letter, hindi tinanggap ng boss?
I don't accept your resignation.
Yung mga ganyan. Oo, di ba?
Okay.
Daming drama na naman.
Okay. Let's get into that. Sige.
Okay.
Dali natin yung mga actors natin.
Sige. Si Perceptor.
Si Bossing.
Si Bossing.
Okay.
And ito si Kakash.
Okay. Usually, sasabihin yan,
oh, boss, I resign. Here is my resignation letter.
Ano sasabihin nito? Ganyan yan, bro.
No.
Tatalikod.
I don't accept your resignation. Talikod.
Yes!
Yan.
Okay, so legally speaking, ano mangyayari dito? Guys, let me introduce the concept of notification. Kasi actually, kapag ang isang empleyado nag-resign, hindi siya nagpapaalam na, boss, pwede ba ako mag-resign? That's not what is happening at all. What's happening here is the employee is merely notifying, boss, magre-resign ako. Ayoko. Problema mo na yun. Basta ang sinabi sa batas, karapatan ko to be able to resign if I want to. So, iba po ang notification versus pagpapaalam. Kumbaga, bata. Kunwari, anak mo. Dad, lalabas ako with my friends. Considering na bata and then ikaw tatay,
paalam yun. Yes, correct.
Kapag nagsabi ka na no, hindi siya pwedeng lumabas.
Correct.
Violation yun.
Violation of my parental authority.
Pero kung kunwari, medyo matanda na, 30 plus.
30 plus, nagpapaalam pa rin.
Hindi, nagsasabi na lang.
Yes.
Dad, labas lang ako.
Okay, ingat.
So,
kung ayaw ko,
parang pwede na i-override. Medyo may matanda na.
Sucks to be you.
But in terms of the law, there's no authority to override that.
True.
The only problem that can happen is yung turnover period. Diba? So, that's discussed in another video. Title nun is, can I immediately resign and leave my work?
Nice.
So, I think na-discuss na natin na maigi yung resignation. Let's go to the next one. The concept of retirement naman. So, how is the retirement defined? Retirement is the result of a bilateral act of the parties, a voluntary agreement between the employer and the employee, whereby the latter, after reaching a certain age, agrees to sever his or her employment with the former.
Okay.
This definition comes from the case of Katotokan versus Lourdes School of Quezon City. It's a 2017 case. So let's simplify that further.
Okay.
Essentially, ang retirement, may agreement ang employer and employee na after a certain age, si employee, voluntary, ikakat niya yung employment niya. So essentially, mag-i-exit na siya ng kumpanya.
So, voluntarily.
Now, usually, ang retirement, anong pinagkaiba sa resignation?
Anong,
it starts
voluntary.
That's true. Pero ito kasi, may pinagkaiba which starts with the letter B. B. Yeah. Ayan. 3 syllables.
B. Benefits.
Benefits. Kapag ikaw nag-resign, congratulations, Attorney Ramon. Yeah. So, kapag ikaw nag-resign, actually, wala kasing resignation benefits. Again, walang
resignation benefits.
If you leave on your own. Ang makukuha mo na lang is final pay, the things that you've already earned. If you retire, there's what we call retirement benefits. And it's a form of reward for an employee's loyalty and service to an employer. And they are earned under existing laws or under a collective bargaining agreement or under employment contracts and company policies.
So, tatlo yan, ano? Yung benefits under retirement, either sa batas, and that's pinaka-basic.
Yes.
Batas, or kung may CBA or collective bargaining agreement, and yung employment contract
and company policies.
Company policies.
Now, It is the result of a bilateral act of the parties, a voluntary agreement. Yun na naman yung word na yun, voluntary agreement.
So, agreement between employer-employee.
Yes.
Okay.
Whereby the employee, after reaching a certain age or length of service, agrees to sever his or her employment with the former.
Okay.
Again, this definition was reiterated in the case of Santo versus University of Cebu. It's a 2019 case.
Nice.
Okay, so pag-usapan natin, tatlo yun, di ba? Laws, CBA, or employment contracts.
Contract or policy, company policy.
So the most basic, kapag wala kayong pinag-uusapan, you go back to the law. Anong sinasabi ng batas tungkol sa retirement benefits.
Correct.
And we'll discuss what those rates are in the next segment. Okay? The next one is CBA, or
Collective Bargaining Agreement.
ibig sabihin nito, ito yung mga agreement na nare-reach ng employees through a union and the management. So kapag may union, they negotiate on behalf of all the employees, they talk with management, and kung ano man yung mapag-usapan, they embody it in a document, pinatype, pipirmahan. Yun na yung kumbaga magiging batas between the two parties.
Nice.
So usually ang CBA, kumbaga kung ito yung benefits na binibigay ng batas, usually it is higher.
Higher.
They negotiate for higher rates or higher benefits. So, ang sinasabi lang dito, sige, kung ano yung sinasabi ng batas, yun tayo pagdating sa retirement.
Yun ang basic.
Except, kung meron kang CBA. Ito susundin natin.
Okay.
Ngayon, ano naman yung pangatlo? Yung pangatlo is contracts and company policies. Ang ibig sabihin nito, wala nang kailangan na CBA. Binigay na ng management without having to negotiate with the CBA. Kumbaga, sa pagmamagandang loob lang ng employers, ginawa ng benefits. So it can be, kumbaga ito yung batas usually parang CBA ang effect niyan. Kapag it's in the company policies or employee contract, it's usually higher in nature than...
Hindi naman kasi lahat ng employers or management, hindi man lahat ng companies may union kasi.
Yes.
So,
and some employers are good-hearted enough na hindi pa hinihingi. Minsan pagpasok pa lang ng empleyado, kita na, taas ng
benefits.
Taas ng retirement benefits dito. I think there's a logic behind that for retention.
Okay. Yeah,
diba?
True.
Taasan ko na lang yung retirement benefits. That way, yung mga empleyado would be motivated to stay in the company.
Until they grow old.
Until it's time. Kasi, totoo lang, Attorney Ramon, medyo mahal din kasi to find employees and
quality.
To train, to find, to hire, to train, and then to orient on board, and then papasanayin mo pa dun sa kultura ng kumpanya. Why not alagaan mo na lang yung mga existing na empleyado until retirement age? That way, you don't have to keep replacing them with hiring expenses. And so I guess yun yung logic na pinag-uusapan dito. Ayun, so malinaw po yun ang retirement benefits. Kapag walang pinag-usapan, batas. Pwedeng mas mataas dyan, CBA, and pwede rin company policies or what's in the employment contract.
Yeah.
So pwedeng mas mataas pa makuha mo kaysa nandun sa batas. So now, let's move on. Ano naman yung types of retirement in the Philippines? Maraming magugulat dito, Attorney Ramon. Akala kasi nila retirement, isa lang yan. Okay. So, in the case of United Doctors Medical Center versus Bernadas, it's a 2017 case, nabanggit dito na merong iba't ibang klase ng retirement. Tatlo po. Ilan? Tatlo ang retirement plans na available. The first is compulsory and contributory. This type of plan is embodied in RA 8282 or the SSS law. And for those in the private sector and for those in government service, nasa RA 8291 naman siya for GSIS. Okay. So, ano ang nature nitong first kind? It's a mandatory contribution kasi from the employer as well as the employee, which shall become a pension fund for the employee upon retirement. Diba? So ang mangyayari dito, mandatory contribution to na dinideduct sa sweldo ng employee, and then ang nature niya para siya nagiging retirement package na forced savings on the part of the employee. Bakit tinawag na forced savings? Kasi hindi po optional. Whether gusto ng empleyado or hindi, kinukuha po ng gobyerno yan, iniipon para pag nag-retire ka, meron ka pwedeng
for their benefit din pag nag-retire.
Ayan, so under this type of retirement plan, yung pension po, it's not considered as mere gratuity, but it actually forms part of the employee's compensation. The employee acquires a vested right to the benefits. Kumbaga pwede niyang i-demand, hoy, nasa na yung yung benefits na to. Kapag na-reach na yung compulsory age, of retirement. Okay, so the beneficiaries are entitled to the pension even after the retired employee's death. You just have to check the policies
ng SSS or GSIS.
Yes.
Okay, nice.
So that's the first one. Yung second and third types are voluntary. So again, the first one is mandatory. Whether gusto mo or hindi, kukunin at kakaltasan ka dyan.
Okay.
Yung second and third, voluntary. Ibig sabihin, pwedeng meron, pwedeng wala. Depende sa usapan. Okay? So the second type is by agreement between the employer and employee. Usually embodied in the CBA. Ayan. So napag-usapan natin kanina, di ba? Usually nini-negotiate yan ng union. And kung ano yung napag-usapan, ito na yung mag-a-apply sa atin.
Right.
Maliban dun sa SSS, may bago tayo na ibibigay which
retirement benefit,
which is more or less above what is provided for under the law. And when I say law, that's usually the labor code for retirement benefits. The third type is given by the employer. Yun nga, yung pinag-usapan natin kanina na ang source is employee policies or the employment contract. Okay? So let's talk about the rules here. Dito sa second and third types of retirement. Ang basehan po natin dito is Article 302 of the Labor Code. Ano sinasabi ng Article 302? Any employee may be retired upon reaching the retirement age established in the CBA or any other applicable employment contract. In case, so lumalabas, pwede palang gumagalaw yan. Pwede pag-usapan natin, anong gusto ng retirement age? 50. Kung nagkasundo, di 50.
Okay.
Or pwedeng
dali naman kaming kausap.
55, 60. Huwag ka na lalagpas dun sa mandatory, which is 65.
Okay.
Now, in case of retirement, the employee shall be entitled to receive such retirement benefits as he may have earned under existing laws, and any other CBA or agreements, provided that an employee's retirements shall not be less than those provided therein. Kung ano yung napag-usapan, ibigay mo.
Okay.
Ito naman yung magic paragraph. In the absence of a retirement plan or agreement. Kung sakaling walang napag-usapan, hindi kayo nakapagplano, o sinabi natin, asa na lang natin sa batas. So ito na yun. Ito na yung batas.
Ito na yung default rules.
Ito na yung default. An employee upon reaching the age of 60 years or more, but not beyond 65, which is hereby declared the compulsory retirement age. So that's number one. Ang age mo dapat, sa default 60 to 65.
Okay.
Second requirement, who has served at least 5 years in the establishment may retire and shall be entitled to retirement pay. Okay, so ulitin natin sino yung mga pwedeng mag-retire? Ito yung requirements. 60 to 65 and must have been with the company for 5 years at least.
Okay.
So pag itong dalawa pasok tayo, ito naman yung pwede niya makuha. Shall be entitled to retirement pay equivalent to at least 1/2 month salary for every year of service.
Okay.
Okay, so ano ibig sabihin nito? Kung kunwari, 5 years ka, so 5 times kalahati ng monthly salary mo.
Okay.
Yun ang retirement pay.
Okay.
Ngayon, may mga tanong dyan. Paano attorney kapag may butal?
Yeah. Paano kung 5 years and 3 months?
May ganon, di ba? Or 5 years and
7 months.
6 months, di ba? Sinolve na ng batas yan. Kasi sinabi ng batas, a fraction of at least 6 months shall be considered as one whole year.
Okay.
So kung kunwari, 5 years and 3 months,
5 years.
Ang bilang nun 5 years.
Okay.
Pero once tumungtong ka na 5 years and 6 months or 7 months, gagawin ng 6 years ang computation. Yan. Okay. So unless the parties provide for broader inclusions, the term 1/2 month salary shall mean 15 days plus 1/12 of the 13th month pay and the cash equivalent of not more than 5 days of service incentive leaves. Kasi those are the things that they are entitled to while they were working. Kung mapapansin nyo, another magic word here is at least 1/2 month. So, again, kung sakaling tataasan ninyo yun, lalabas ka na dun sa kasi magiging company policy na yun. So that's how it works. Yeah. So the law permits the employers and employees to fix the employee's retirement age. Absent, kung sakaling walang pinag-usapan, such agreement, the law fixes the compulsory retirement age at 65, while the minimum is set at 60 years. That comes from the case of Pulong versus Super Manufacturing Incorporated, 2019 case.
Super manufacturing. Okay.
Yes. So, pwede pag-usapan kasi there are certain industries na parang hindi, parang siguro masyadong physical or for one reason or another, yung requirement medyo mabigat. They can actually lower the
retirement
age.
Nice.
Okay. So now let's go to the question.
Okay.
I-apply na natin. So ano yung metrics natin kanina? 7 years daw siya.
7
And
years.
then nag-resign siya. Pwede ba siya makatanggap ng retirement pay?
Yun.
Knowing what we know now, number 1, kung sakaling nag-resign ka, wala kang matatanggap, sir. Kasi resignation, that was voluntary on your part, unfortunately. What you could have done, I don't know kasi kung nag-decide na tong reader natin. Hopefully hindi pa and this message reaches you in time. What you could have done kasi 7 years ka. Ang requirement ng batas at least 5
years.
5 years. And kung pasok ka sa 60 to 65 or kung sakali may company policy kayo na medyo mas earlier, I would advise you go for retirement kasi under retirement, you could have gone half-month salary at least times 7 kung sakali. So that's how the question could have been resolved. I hope we were able to help you. For most of you, this video was more than enough, and if it makes your life easier, then you're welcome. But there are those of you who will watch this video and end up asking more questions, such as, Attorney, how do we handle resignations? Or, Attorney, what if they ask for separation pay? Anong gagawin namin? Yan.
So if that's you, then we invite you to check out the Complete Employee Discipline System. It's a book where we teach you a roadmap of handling employee cases from start to finish. Get the book at info.legalguide.ph/discipline today.
And one last thing, leaving is always hard. But before you make a decision to leave, make sure you understand what method you're choosing to leave. Otherwise, you may be missing out on benefits that could have been yours. So was it that simple?
Now go make better choices.